Johnson. Care for a rub down?
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Something special is about to happen.
Are you waiting to receive my limp penis?
Very aroused.
Better than later.
Let's do this.
That is incredible. That is unbelievable. That is brilliant.
Yeah, g'day rubbers. Welcome back to the weekly Rub Down, a podcast that rubs down everything NRL Supercoach. You are listening to the 2RF Rub Down. I'm your host, Natty, the triple champion, and as always, with me, riding shotgun in the rub, is the stats daddy, Walker the Weasel. What's going on, bruz?
Oh, not too much, mate. Very excited to be pumping through these positions and getting ever closer to the rub files coming your way.
Oh, baby. I'll drink to that. I'm on the King
Absolutely.
Browns tonight, too.
Oh, jeez. You know something's up when you're on the King Browns. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm having a tough day if I'm fucking drinking the King Browns.
Tough day at the office. Well, I'm on the peach margaritas, if you'll
that's
believe
cute.
that. Yeah.
That is
I've
cute
got a
as
beer
fuck.
lined up after that and something a little bit harder further.
Sounds
But,
like you've had a rough day too.
I've had a rough week. Actually, yeah. So look,
Drink
it is Friday. So we're recording this on Friday, so you'll see this on Saturday. But yeah, rough week for both.
And this is going to be a long podcast too. I may have made a grave error here, only bringing one Tawley in. So I might leave you at some point to ramble on for a bit while I rush to the fridge and grab another couple of Tawleys at some point during this potty because, 2RF, always very girthy.
Yeah, and there's definitely a few certain players that I'll be waffling on about. So yeah, I'll give you a wink.
Mate, waffle on. Jesus, that doesn't sound like you at all.
Fuck off.
Now,
when the word needs to be said, I'll say it. Sometimes twice.
You'll say 8 or 9 words that can said in one word usually.
I'm a wordsmith. What can I say?
Guilty. Guilty. Now, this rub down, as they all are, brought to you by the Rub Club, aka the weekly Rub Down Patreon. She's humming over there all the stats you'll ever need. If you need the most comprehensive statistical backup for your NRL Supercoach sides, whether that be draft or classic, there is only one fucking place to visit, and that is the Rub Club. Cover charge $8 a month. What? I'll say it again. $8 a month. Fucking cheap as chips. Cheaper.
A month.
Cheaper than a fucking schooner. So get over there, have a look. We've got ranks, we've got stats, we've got strength of schedule. It's all there. Like I said, everything you'll ever need to prep for the season. If you're a classic guy or girl, you are obviously trying to build a fucking classic. Tried to do that the other day on the shitter. It's hard this year. I mean,
there's limited cheapies, so yeah.
I've got a few vacant spots, let's put that. So I'll be leaning heavily on the Rub Stats to finish that team and then draft the Mecca. We're all building towards the big day, the real Christmas day. That is draft day. And you want all the tools in your toolbox, all the weapons in your arsenal, and the way that you fucking juice yourself up to the eyeballs is with Rub Stats. You want an unfair advantage against your mates? This is how you do it. This shit should be illegal. This should be banned. Supercoach should be fucking getting in contact with the Rub Down and saying, guys, you need to fucking pull these stats off your site because it's giving blokes and girls a fucking unfair advantage. Stop doing it. But for now, it is legal. Get in there, sink your fucking teeth in.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the 1900s, they put cocaine in Coke, and that's effectively what we're doing with these Rub Stats.
Those are the days, eh? We were
Those
born
are
in
the
days.
Fuck
Geez,
yeah.
you'd be drinking some Coke, I tell you that much. Oh, fuck. I'd be that
Jesus.
polar bear. I'd be the Coca-Cola polar bear just fucking lapping that shit up. Blah, 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 blah. Oh. Plenty on behind the Iron Curtain, people. So we're just talking about the challenge pack that will be coming out in the next couple of days. So if you've ever wondered how you can improve your league, how you can add something to how you choose your draft order. Spice it up. If you're looking for an excuse to get everyone together in the league for a weekend away or a day on the piss, something like that, I'm about to release the challenge pack, which is the ultimate guide to how you should run a challenge day in order to choose your draft order. This is the mecca, people. This is years and years in the making. I've done all the heavy lifting. I've taken all the fucking guesswork out of it. What works, what doesn't work, I've handled that for you. This is just your one-stop shop. Rules, tutorials, lists, equipment, where to get things, the who, the what, the when, the how. It's all in this challenge pack, people. It is going to be fucking good gear. And I'm sure everyone listening here now is thinking, yeah, we can definitely make our league better. This is how you fucking do it. This is the first place to start. If you get this right, if you get a challenge day right and make choosing your draft order a big day on the drink, a big day with your mates, Jesus Christ, it sets you up for a good season, people. I'm telling you, we've done so many different variations of choosing draft orders, haven't we, Wook?
We've had 7 or 8 years of developing the right system that works. We know what works, we know what doesn't work because we've tried it. Feel free to give it a go and put your own spin on things. But what Natty's gone through, it works for us and it'll work for most leagues. And there's obviously a whole bunch of things where people will try to weasel or get competitive advantage in certain things. And those are things that we've thought about as well.
100%. Okay, challenges. Okay, what's the rules for the challenges? I've sorted that. Okay, what's the equipment for that challenge? I've sorted that. What's the tiebreaker? What's the scoring system? How do you score it? Where do you score it? What do you use when you're scoring? Don't worry, guys. I've fucking sorted it for you. It's all in this challenge pack. I'm telling you, if you just follow this from woe to go, you will have a fantastic challenge day.
It's the idiot's guide to challenge day.
It is. It is, mate. And there's a few different sort of choose your own adventure, choose your own poison. If you don't like it the way that we do it, I've given you a couple of options in order, like how it pertains to draft day and what you want to do with draft day. And because obviously we have the linear draft for the first 2 rounds. I've got a few other options if that's too rich for your blood. Don't worry, guys. I've thought of everything. So that bad boy will be going live in the next couple of days.
Or it's going to be live by the time you hear this.
Oh, fuck, it's out there now, guys. Go get it. Go get it. Yeah, it's going to be $17 for the average punter. It'll be a little bit cheaper for those real rubbers, the Rub Club subscribers. So if you want a cheaper challenge pack and you want all the stats that you will ever fucking need for your Supercoach sides, Rub Club is the place to be. So lots coming. And I haven't even touched on the Rub files, which is the thing that everyone's fucking gagging for at the moment. I'm putting the final touches on that bad boy. So that will be coming out in the next sort of week-ish. Are we right about a week-ish?
Australia Day-ish. Australia Day-ish.
Now, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, tell you what, if you don't know what we're talking about, head over to the Rub Club, which is, what's the website?
www.patreon.com/rubber.
And you can find on there last year's, the 2025 Rub files. You can download that for free. You can have a look exactly what the Rub files is all about. And just picture that, but better for 2026. And how much is that bad boy going to be this year?
The challenge pack or the
Rub files?
The Rub files, it would be $25.
Oh, man,
but there is a tasty $10 discount for our Rub Club subscribers.
For the December diehards.
For the diehards.
Yeah. People that were in with us in December always get that tasty discount because you're getting in early, and we love those diehards, baby. So
damn straight.
Lots and lots to come on the Rub. Holy fuck. You're welcome, guys. I mean, if you can't crush your draft with all this shit, I think you just give it away. Let's be honest. Maybe you're not built for this world.
Exactly. It's a tough
Okay.
life.
Yeah, so very excited, guys. Lots coming. Keep an ear and an eye out for those. Let's get into a sledge. So reading out some 5-star sledges in order for you guys to join the Rubbers League for 2026. We pick our favorite 9 sledges, 5-star sledges, whether that's from Apple Podcast or Spotify, and our top 9 get in. Wook and I, we manage a team together, and then we have a listener league, the Rubbers League. So I've had a couple on. Last week's was fantastic. I think that's leading at the moment. Was that Eduardo?
Eduardo, yeah. He had a
Eddie.
cracker of a go. Yeah,
Well done,
played.
Eddie. So, all right. So
Gideon,
this one,
yes.
this one I think is from Brycey. So, plenty of things a man can do with his time, and this isn't one of them. Treat this podcast like your hooker and leave them till last. The content consists of a regurgitated dribble of color-coded stats and 30 minutes of self-sucking till it's all the way to the Chewy Center before they analyze a single player on their team. Wooker, although he claims to have a better mic setup and sound, he actually sounds like he's speaking down a PVC pipe half the time, or fucks off from the potty at random times, blames it on the internet, but we know it's plonk related. Well,
That's fair.
I feel for the Rubbers sitting through one of his 20-minute player analysis only to forget a really important stat and circle back. Natty can't function without a beer or 6, and if not for a simple spreadsheet, would be hard-pressed to string together 2 logical thoughts. Better off asking his daughter to pick players. She seems to out-tip him most weeks. One day we may actually get an outro that is correct or lines up with the end of the end of the show.
This is good.
This podcast is the living embodiment of how Natty described his neighbour's lawn after digging out his pool. A clusterfuck. Worth a listen, though. 5 stars. Well done. That ticks a few boxes.
That's good, mate. That is.
Yeah, that's very good. That's up there. That's
There's a fair bit of
actually.
history in there too. There's at least 2 to 3 years.
I do like that. The pool thing was very good. That means you've been with us for a long time. That's good. Nice one, Brycey. All right. Well, got us. Feel seen. I have to take a breath after some of these sledges because I'm like, holy fuck, these guys are really really getting us. So that's good, guys. If you want to jump on, you want to get involved in the Rubbers League, that's how you do it. Rip us to shreds.
For
the
sure.
more savage, the better. Okay, any news before we actually? Yeah, there is a little bit of news that I probably want to go through, and I've got a little sting here for news, so let's play that.
With a Channel 4 News exclusive. Brian?
And a watch.
Now, you're always keeping on top of what Brian, the NRL physio, is putting out. So I just had a look at that and thought I would sort of share
regale us, mate.
some posts that he had out. If I can find them. Here we go. So Tino, knee surgery. So he had a bit of a clean out. Obviously had the ACL, but he had a bit of a knee clean out after reporting some soreness. He, on all reports, he should be right to go for round 1. But also,
Hannah's been pretty adamant that it's like the minorest of surgeries. So
yep. Callum Ponga with that foot injury rehab is supremely confident of being available for tonight's season opener in Las Vegas, and he may even feature in a trial.
Yeah, I did see some pre-season video footage of him doing some running today, which is good. So knees up to the chest sort of situation.
Tasty. And then we've got some return times here. Luke Metcalf is aiming for round 7 to 9. Cam McInnes returning from his ACL. He's aiming between round 1 and 6. So pretty early. Yeah.
Okay, this is round 6. So that Cole Queen's not as good of a pick as expected.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Jack Bostock aiming round 8 to 10 post his ACL.
It's going to be very interesting with Cobbo.
Yep. Mitch Barnett, ACL return, aiming round 1 to 4. So he should be an early return.
He's not a certainty for round 1.
It doesn't say a certainty, no. Dylan Egan aiming to return round 10 from his ACL.
That's not as early as I was hoping.
No. Max Plath aiming round 3 to 4. And
I mean,
Ryan
he's going to
Catchman,
be sharing time.
yeah, and Ryan Catchman, he'll be back for the trials.
He backfire the bench.
A couple of other things I sort of read, and we will go through them as we get to the positions, but just a few things that I sort of read on a couple of sites here. Appy Coruscant had a better kicking percentage than Adam Dewey in 2025. That's gonna be closer than people think. That kickoff there between.
And he's also like stated that he hasn't given up on goal kicking.
Yep.
So
and their career goal kicking percentage is pretty much the same, 74%.
Yeah.
Now, this is the thing. This is the one that I'll talk about when we get to the position. But Stephen Crichton and Matt Burton, everyone's just counting credit at kick goals, and I'm sure that he's probably ahead. But it's not like he's a fucking heaps better goal kicker than Matt Burton. Matt Burton,
he wasn't better last season.
No, not by a fucking long shot. Matt Burton was 88% last year.
88.
And Critter was 79.
Fucking hell.
And then
88 is proper elite.
For their career, Critter 79 and Matt Burton 78. But Matt Burton's obviously had more attempts than Critter in his career.
Yeah.
So even that, like, I don't think that's I don't think I'm sold on Critter kicking goals. And the last one I read was Ethan Sanders will get the first crack at halfback for the Raiders, and he will kick goals.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A little tickle on my little PP.
Bit of movement.
Yeah, I mean for classic, not so much for anything else apart from classic, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, well, it almost sort of locks Ethan Sanders in your classic team, doesn't it?
There's a few options though. There's a few cheapy options in the halves, which is in half back, I should say.
I wish there'd be some in 5'8". Jesus,
you got Pezzett and nothing.
What a fucking joke that position is.
Yeah, it's not fantastic, is it?
Oh my lord. All right, well that's news. Anything else you want to add to news? Anything you've heard? Any whispers?
Whispers. I mean, it was a few weeks ago now, but we're hearing whispers that Sharp might be lining up on the left wing spot, which obviously leaves Sandon Smith in the halves position.
Yes.
What no one's spoken about at all, Greg Marju.
Yeah.
Where does that leave him?
Playing prop. I saw a photo of him.
He looks massive, by the way.
I saw a photo of him today. I'm pretty sure he's playing front row because that motherfucker looks big.
It kind of, like, I look at him, like if you look at him as he currently is and look at Sifa Talakai, very same body shape. So maybe they're looking to use him as like a bench utility potential.
But he could. He's huge. He's massive.
Yeah.
Like,
you could run him through anyone.
And what does he do best? Bowl cunts over.
Yeah, bust tackles.
100% you could. But that does it does make a bit of a ripple effect, that whole thing. So obviously Fletcher Sharp, you have to drop him in your rankings a little bit, but then you have to have a little bit of a conversation about, okay, he's going to be playing left wing. We like left wing. He's a finisher.
Left position is amazing.
Mate, when he was playing wing for the Knights, when he was playing right wing, he ended people's Supercoach seasons. If you didn't have him, if he came up, if he came up against Sharp in your finals, you were fucking dusted.
Literally.
He is going to be a very interesting conversation.
It's a grand final too. Why'd you have to say that? What could have been?
He's hurt. So he's interesting, but also Sandon Smith. Now we have to talk about Sandon Smith a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with the fact that he's got a better goal kicking percentage than KP. So, yeah, lots to talk about there. That whole night situation's very fluid. A lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous.
Especially when you consider, like, KP will consider himself as a leader, like in the leadership group in the team. Makes sense to have him in the huddle with the rest of the team prepping for the next set rather than take on the goal kicking. Especially when he's, like, not 100% the best kicker in the team.
And he's never sort of had that role cemented. Like, he's never been like the cemented goal kicker for the Knights. Like, he's almost like
one season, but like apart from that, no.
He's like the fallback. It's like if there's no one else better, it has to be him. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sandon Smith takes the goal kicking.
And then Holbrook, plot twist, Gagai gets the boots.
Yeah, fuck, who knows? Well, again, he's got the third best fucking percentage Gagai, so, but yeah, who knows? Who knows what the fuck's going to go on there? But plenty going on, as it always does in the preseason for the NRL. It's like a soap opera that I'm addicted to.
For sure.
I can't get enough. All right, bro, let's get into the 2RF position.
Here's Fafita. Good luck, Kalen. Good luck, everyone. You give Fafita space like that so close to the line, and it's all over.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch! Let's get you a rub down.
All right, 2RF. Hit us off, Wook. This is your baby.
This is my baby. So, look, realistically, with the 2RFs, what are we looking for? We're looking for upside, but with balance. So similar to like a regular rugby league team, we're looking for a couple of high strike weapons on the edges. So your high ceiling sort of targets, and then we want to marry that up with a lock essentially. So like a high base sort of player. So you want decent base just across the board, but you do want some attacking upside. And like I said, they come in two speeds, the base beast locks and the strike edge back rowers. But it's a very important position to get right. So in the last few years, since the uptick of the CTWs and the high ceiling targets, that's the one change that we've seen in the last few years that 2RF hasn't really caught up with, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it is the engine room of your team though.
100%. I mean, when you're looking at those edge back rower types, right? The first thing I like to look at is their half, whoever's next to them, right? Well, first, I want to look at what edge
are they attacking on? Yeah,
that team is dominant on. Where is the ball singing? And then I want to look at the half that is playing inside them. Does that half generally like to use their edge back row? Do they like those, short balls off the hip close to the line? Is it a DCE? Is it a Luke Keary type of player that really love to bring their back rower into the attack? Or is it a Cody Walker type? Do you know what I mean? Like where the fucking edge back rowers just mean absolutely nothing in attack out there. So those are the two big things I like to look at straight away, and then dive in a little bit further and say, okay, what sort of stats do they have attacking wise when it comes to try involvements? And these are all the stats that you can see very clearly over in the rub stats when you look at the 2RF analysis sheets. See what sort of try involvements they've had over the last couple of years. Are they running good lines and getting picked up and crashing over? The final thing I look at, I want a 50 base.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's surprising how often edge back rowers don't meet that 50, right? A 50 base on the edge is actually elite. That's what you want. You want that starting point of a 50 base first, and then build on top of that with those things that I said, like, okay, the halfback's using him. That's the dominant edge. He's in try scoring form. These things are the little cherries on top. And when all those things happen, that's when you get a season like Huddy Young, a season like Katoa, a season like Angus Crichton when he's on.
Isaiah Papali'i a few years ago at the Eels. Yep.
When those things line up, that's when you get those 75, 80 averages out of your edge back rowers. So it's sort of like a bit of a tick and flick sheet that you need with your 2RFs. And then, like you were saying with your locks, it's always good to have a guy that you don't have to worry about, a guy that's going to pump out 60 to 65 points every single game.
Doesn't really matter who he plays.
Yep. High PPM. His role in the team is cemented. When you're talking about guys like Pat Carrigan, Isaiah Yeo, guys that, they're so good. They're so integral to this team. Those minutes are so consistent. The CV's low and the points just churn week in, week out. You're not going to get those fucking massive games, but dependable.
Yeah, and we saw last season that sometimes you got players coming from the clouds like Aaron Clark that, fit that mold and they're worth their weight in gold.
100%.
Especially when the whips are cracking.
Yep.
And look, 2RF, similar to CTW, it is also a position where you can really benefit from having one rotation position, so a streamer that you can bring in when they have a really good matchup. So if you've got like a 2RF that has a high ceiling, you might want to bring them in for certain games. You could even sit your, if everyone else has got a good matchup, you might want to sit your base beast to try to maximize the points potential. So I typically like to have at least one option that I can swing into 2RF. But yeah, it depends on how deep your benches are, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like I said, it is kind of the engine room, your 2RF of your Supercoach side. It's not the front row four, it's not the hooker. If you get your 2RFs right, it's going to set you up really well for a tasty little season. So it's an important position. We'll talk about strategy a little bit later after we've done the categories and the ranks. But there's a lot to be sort of talked about when it comes to strategy and when you want to start targeting these 2RFs.
Super
All right, bro, let's get
right.
Let's get into some ranks. And as I always like to say, disclaimer, these ranks, they're fluid. We're early. Things will change. If you are a Rub Club subscriber, you'll have your finger on the pulse when we change ranks. Like we'll do updated posts. We'll do exclusive podcasts to update those ranks. But at the moment, this is where we see it right now. So the 2025 top 2RS with 15 games under their belt, we had Hudson Young, number 1, with a 77 average. Dylan Lucas, number 2, 76 average. Eli Katoa, 74.5 average. He's gone. We've got Tino Fasul Malawi at 70 average. Jacob Preston, a 70 average. Aaron Clark at 6 with a 69 average. Bo Firma at 7 with a 67 average. Viliami Kikau at number 8 with a 67 average. Molly Olakawato at number 9 with a 67 average. And Pat Carrigan lines it up here at number 10 with a 65 average. So Young, Lucas, Katoa, Fasul Malawi, Preston, Clark, Firma, Kikau, Olakawatu, and Carrigan as your top 10.
Super interesting that like Preston, Clark, Fermor, and Kickout all beat Olakawatu in his average. Big season ahead potentially for Olakawatu. All depends on how he meshes with Fogarty, I suppose.
Yeah,
we'll get into
and that's going to be a very decent chat tonight, that one with Homoli Olakawatu. Now, our rough rub ranks as they stand right now, we've got Tino at 1, Angus Crichton at 2, Dylan Lucas at 3, Jacob Preston at 4, Hudson Young at 5, Bo Firma at 6, Aaron Clark 7, Paddy Carrigan at 8, Viliami Kikau at 9, and Homoli Olakawatu at 10. So straight off the bat there, we're obviously fading a little bit on Hudson Young coming off that career year at the Raiders, now not having Jamal Fogarty. Obviously, they've got a younger spine as well, so dropping him a little bit. We're very big on Angus Crichton, Dylan Lucas, and Bo Firma. We'll go through those guys a little bit in a minute. Fading Olakawatu is one. That's a huge one with no DCE. That's a big one.
Yeah, I think the other big thing with Huddy that you didn't mention was the round 26 bye. That looms large. So, despite like he had some ridiculous stats last season, can he replicate them? Like with the rookie half, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yep. And we've obviously put Aaron Clark above Paddy Carrigan, probably just because, we think they'll probably average very similar, but Paddy Carrigan's going to play Origin. There's always a risk there that he's going to back up. He's going to be sore, might get injured. So less games coming out of 2026 for Pat Carrigan than there is Aaron Clark. So just rank Aaron Clark a little bit higher. Everyone else just sort of falling into place. There was a bit of a conversation over Angus Crichton v. Dylan Lucas v. Jacob Preston. We're pretty confident with the halves coming in for the Roosters and the type of season that's being poised here for the Roosters. Angus Crichton is going to have a big season. We love Dylan Lucas. We love Jacob Preston. We like all three of them, but that's how we see them at the moment. And Tino's Tino.
Tino's ridiculous. Like he is your best 2F option. And I'll get into him a little bit, but he's outrageously good for what he put on the field last season.
Well, let's get into it. Obviously, we go through our draft categories. We try and talk about as many players as we can and where we want to draft them. But if we miss anyone, and we'll miss a lot tonight. We can't talk about every 2RF on the board. If we miss anyone that you have something interesting to bring to the table with, DM me on Instagram or get in contact with Wooker over on the Patreon and outline the stats or whatever you want to say about a player. And if it's good and we think it's worth talking about on the podcast, we will bring it up before the next podcast and we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Yep. Help us help you. So yeah, don't be shy. Get involved. We're all here.
Jerry Maguire. How good.
We're all here trying to help each other, people. 100%. All right, let's get into the first category here, the elite.
The elite. Best of the best.
I got a boner.
And it's probably the first year that I just clearly
proper gaggle.
Can't see anyone that I would take in the first 10 picks at 2RF. It's probably the first year I think, that there's no conversation about it.
And I think Tino's far enough away that he doesn't slide in no matter what happens. He's got one of the better strength of schedules, but I just can't see him being worthy of that upper echelon.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, it's the first year where I'm just like, no one's going to creep in to that first round at the 2RF spot. So pretty easy there for your first 10 picks. You don't have to worry about it at 2RF. Let's get in to the guns.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Mr. Burgundy, you have a massive erection.
Okay, this is picks 11 to 30, round 2 to 3 in a 10-man league. Plenty of cunts here. We've got Tino, we've got Gussie, we've got Dylan Lucas, Jacob Preston, Huddy Young, Bo Firma, Aaron Clark, Paddy Carrigan, Viliami Kikau, Hamoli Olakawatu, Isaiah Yo probably sneaks into this point as well. Lots of guys that will all do a job for you. Who do you want to talk about first up, bro?
Well, I mean, Tino, the man we were just talking about, look, he had a 70.3 average from last season, but he was playing injured through the middle to the latter part of the season. And you take out those injured games where he was playing limited minutes or he was injury affected, he jumps up to a 75.5 average.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. And look, even not even considering that, his PPM was 1.21, which is upper echelon of elite areas for 2RFs. Average 58 minutes. Look, I feel like that's not going to change too much, and I'm super excited for what we'll see from him this season. Comes into the Titans finals with the best strength of schedule, both by team and by player. So position. Sorry. So yeah, I think he's only scored 3 tries last season. I think he can replicate that at the very least. So I don't think anything's there's limited risk essentially is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. And that'll come up a lot when we're talking about Titans players. Their final strength of schedule is just fucking bonkers. I mean, it's not
outrageous.
It's not crazy important for Tino. Like, you'll take Tino where you take Tino regardless of the strength of schedule.
It's going to be more important when we talk about Bo Firma.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're talking at length about that.
Yes, big Bo guy, huge Bo guy. The reason I love Tino so much is his propensity to push offloads. Every run he has, you can see him trying to break the ceiling with his arm to get that offload over the top of players. It's every fucking single run, run. And he's been given the license to do that. Now, that's why I love him so much. Not sure if the new coach is going to try and shackle that or if he's going to say, go ahead, do you, boo. But if it continues, we're in for something. I mean, it's 2 offloads a game across the 2025 season.
And that's super tasty. 2 effective offloads too.
Yeah. So I that's the reason I love him so much, because you've obviously got You've got his work rate. There's a lot of hit ups, plenty of tackles. He's a huge engine. He's get lots of minutes. That's all great for those lock roles. And we talked about that earlier when we were talking about picking a guy that's going to play a lock, right? His role in the team is cemented. You know he's going to play big minutes. Huge engine, great PPM, tackles, fucking runs. But just that added little extra of like every run he fucking makes, he wants to offload. And when you've got Kinney, when you've got JC, when you've got AJ Brimson, these guys that love to play that support role, then that offload turns into a line break assist.
It's almost like base power plus the potential in those sort of teams that are like attack forward teams. And Tino's an attack forward type of player. So yeah, I'm all about it. I am definitely team Tino. If I get the opportunity middle of round 2, I'm looking very, very closely.
Yeah, it's definitely something you've got to think about in that round 2 realm. And like I said, like you're going to get 70 points every game, right? But he pushes one of those offloads that turns into a line break. That's your 80-point game. Only one of them have to come off.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yes,
and
no.
he's looking for another game. Yeah.
Love Tino. Big on Tino. Get him up here. Want to buff him. I totally agree. I want to talk about Angus Crichton here for a second. We love Angus Crichton here on the Rubdown. Talked about him for a long time. Big fans of his. Very respectable 62 with, I mean, how clunky the Roosters were in attack at times last year, with changing in the halves and all that. Like you can see it because he only scored 4 tries, right? So 4 tries, only 4 tries, still with a 62 is good. That's fucking great, actually. I think with more time to develop those combos, with it looks as though it's going to be Sam Walker out there on the left, it has to be good for his average, right? There's no way that like more time with his half and combinations and how set this Roosters team is going to be coming into the 2026 season is going to be bad for his average. So all of a sudden you're looking at there going, okay, we're getting a bump there. If you look at in 2024, he averaged 78 and he scored 11 tries and had 4 100-plus scores in that season. That's where I see the improvement lying here for Angus Crichton is the tries. Turn that 4 try season into an 11 try season. We can easily get up to that sort of 70, mid-70s average. I love that you can get 50 in base. And I mentioned this earlier, guys that play on the edge and get a 50 base that have attacking upside with them. Angus Crichton, he fits that fucking bill. I just love the room for growth here for Angus Crichton. And people look at that 62 and go, yeah, I'll wait. But I think he's a guy you should reach for.
Yeah. Look, I agree with everything you said, but I want to play a little game called Devil's Advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've seen in the past that a large proportion of the tries scored with a combination of Sammy Walker and Natty Butcher on the right were via kicks. And we have seen a large proportion of the try assists that Sammy Walker gets are from obviously kicks. Same can be said about DCE. So do you think that hurts, hinders, or is irrelevant to the potential for Gussie?
I would much rather DCE be with Gus.
That's
Crichton
what I was thinking. Yeah.
For his attacking output. But I still don't think it's a bad thing, Sam Walker being there.
No.
I think sure. I still think Sam Walker is the type of half that will use his edge back rower. And I don't mind the little grubbers in behind the line because Angus Crichton's quite adept to that as well. Like he's got great hands and he will score those tries off kicks. Obviously, I don't get the line break with that, so you don't get as many points, but those tries are in his repertoire as well, Gussie Crichton. So to answer your question, it's better if DCE is next to him, but I still think it's positive that Sam Walker will work on a combination with Angus Crichton, and that 62 is still very fucking low.
100%, I agree. I've just cooled on him a little bit from when it was announced. One of the rubbers had they were watching the cricket, and they did spy DCE on the right. So
which is what we
thought.
thought.
I caught on a little bit. We did think about that, yeah.
I've never thought that DC would come in and play left, if I'm honest. It never even sort of entered my thought that
we've seen Sammy Walker play right predominantly. He's played both sides, obviously. But yeah, he's played predominantly right from what we've seen. Like, he's obviously sparked up a fair bit of a combination with Natty Butcher over the years, and that's been on the right side.
But now you've got an Australian Maroons.
Oh, look, and
legend of the game coming in.
Say no more. Say no more.
It's like, kid, I play right. You play somewhere else.
Well, I'm here to win a comp, mate. Get in the back seat and come with me.
And now I'm just looking at his strength of schedule in the finals. Angus Crichton has the 5th best strength of schedule amongst left 2RFs for the round 27 grand final. For the round 26 grand final system, he has the 5th best strength of schedule as well for that one. For the round 25 grand final strength of schedule system, he's got the 6th best. So that's 5, 5, and 6 across all 3 systems is pretty hard to fucking do. That's pretty fucking fantastic. So, he's the type of 2RF that can capitalize on that weak run in defense that are coming up against him. Like, he's a guy that, you know, he may score tries in those games. Those are the guys that you want leading into your final system if they have a nice run like he does. So I'm big on Gussie. I haven't cooled on him at all, just because I never thought that DC would be left. So I was always sort of gauging Gussie as if Sam Walker was going to be his half. And I get where you're coming from, and just we know what Sam Walker likes to do. He likes to harbour bridge over the top to his winger. He likes to kick to his winger.
Or a kick over the top. One of those 3 things he'll do.
But I'm also thinking that maybe he's more of a mature halfback now, being in the league for a few years, and maybe defenses are thinking that that's his strong point, and they've done video on, you know, you need to mark up on Daniel Tupou because that's where the ball's going. So what does that do when defenses stretch like that? It puts Angus Crichton one-on-one with someone, usually the opposing half. Good night. That's just what it is. So hopefully Sam Walker, he's matured. He doesn't have just one bow where he just wants to kick and pass to the winger. And if that's true and defenses start worrying about Sam Walker, because they should, because that's the type of caliber of halfback that he is. He's that fucking good. Then there will be space for Gussie Crichton. I can see myself reaching for Angus Crichton, another guy that I could see me getting him in round 2. Because I think he averages 75.
It is a little bit rich for my blood at this stage, but look, I mean, you look at the other guys in the list, and yeah, there's detractions for a few of them.
So I think Tino and Angus could average similar, in my opinion, for 2026.
Yeah, look, Gussie Crichton's done it in the past. That's the big thing. Had the slow year last year, but look, the base power of 58 for an edge back rower is ridiculous.
Yep. And it depends where you are in where you're picking, right? So if you're picking at the back end of round 2, that's where I'm talking. Like, I'm not going to take Gussie on the turn pick, but if you're sort of picking late round 2, maybe the turn of round 2, 3, that's where I sort of see these Tino and Angus Crichton guys falling.
I think, would you go back to back Sammy Walker into Gussie Crichton for the ultimate stack?
I love the stack, bro.
That is the ultimate stack. And to be honest, to be honest, you'd be picking up Sammy Walker, maybe pick 8, maybe pick 9, there or thereabouts, return around, picks 12, 13. That's the sort of area that you're looking at if you want to get that stack. And you look at the strength of schedule that they've got. It's not terrible in the finals. Start of the season is a bit tough because they obviously got that bye. But fuck, like, I could think of worse things to do. If you're a believer in the Roosters and DC coming in with Robson and co.
That turn sort of area, right? So picks 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Mm.
Fuck, there's some stacks to be had there. My mind just went ballistic then, thinking about stacks. Sam Walker into Gus Crichton. We've got Mark Nawang Itawaze into DCE. We've got Kinney into Jaden Campbell. There's 3 off the dome.
It's a mad reach for DC though.
But
yeah,
you're literally that's why you stack though, right? Because who's like, okay, if you're big enough to have Mark Nawang Itawaze in the top 10, which we are, then you think he's going to average 70 plus, which means you think he's going to score a lot of tries.
Who's going to be feeding him? Yeah.
Exactly, baby. Exactly. 1-on-1 make 2.
Big dog's got to eat.
100. Holy. Yeah, Stack City. Stack City, bitch. Yes.
Stack City.
I like it. All right, this is going to be a long podcast. We're getting whipped up here.
It is.
All right, bro. You go next, and then I'll go. You go, I go.
Look, I'll talk about Huddy Young because, look, it needs to be spoken about. He's got the round 26 bye. It hurts if you're in a round 26 grand final system. It hurts if you're in a round 27 grand final system. If you're in a round 25 grand final system, feel free to bump him up your ranks. So, look, 45% of the time last season, he got 80% or above. Elite areas, it was the highest of any edge back row, highest of any 2RF last season, taking out guys like Eli Katara and co. 77.1 average, and in that he had 10 tries over the season and out of 20 games. So that's 1 try every second game. Can he continue that as an edge back rower with the drop in quality in halves of Fogarty down to Sanders? Personally, I don't think so. The strength of schedule, even with the bye in round 26, he's got he's got the worst strength of schedule of all back rowers, specifically left 2RF. So, look, there's a lot of detractions for him. I don't think he drops away massively and falls off the face of the earth, because you look at his base power from last season, he got a 63. That's beyond elite. That's better than most of the locks. So I think you've only got Aaron Clark has a better base power than Huddy Young. So he's not going to fall from grace too far, but it's just those top end scoring potential games that we're probably not going to see as much, because like try involvements per game last season, 0.9 try involvements per game. Like that is outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here with Huddy. I expect a regression from him, and we sort of chatted about this throughout the preseason on, no Jamal Fogarty. They obviously play on opposite edges, Jamal Fogarty being a right half and Huddy Young being a left edge back rower. So they don't directly impact each other, but what Fogarty's great at is creating
field
shape.
Position. It's field position as well.
Field position, but also shape in the back line, where he sends the ball, where he sends defenses, where he creates space for his left edge players.
Absolutely.
Like all of that, all this matters, and all this is created by a very smart and experienced halves like Fogarty. And that, him not being there, is going to be a huge missing link in Huddy's attack.
And it was also a career year for Strange as well.
For sure.
Like, can he back it up? Like, he may be able to, but he's not going to be in the same field positions as he was last season. Like, he's got one of the best forward packs in the game, but he's got to make the right decisions when it counts.
The try scoring run that Huddy went on in the first half of the season was ridiculous.
If you look at his Ido, like,
if you look at the first half of the season for Huddy Young and compare it to the second half of the season, like he averaged 66 from rounds 16 to the end of the year. He didn't score a try, but that's what he averaged. Like 66 is still great,
which
is
bloody close to his base power average of 63.
Yep. So what you've got to think to yourself is like, okay, if I'm going to draft him at that 77 average, I've got to be confident that he is going to score 10 tries.
Yeah.
And I am not confident that he is going to do that.
We don't have the sample size of like Ethan Sanders in the side and just generally how the team's going to perform without Fogarty. It's there are too many risk factors for us to go balls deep in this one.
Yep. So, do I think he's still going to be a great Supercoach player? Of course. It's Hudson Young. He's in everything. He wants to be a part of every attacking play. He's selfish, which is always great for Supercoach. Like, he's still going to be good. Just be wary that 77 is a bit of a trap, guys.
And possibly another detraction is because of how good he is, like, does he get another shot at Origin?
For sure.
Yeah.
And there's he's going to be one of the players that they do a lot of tape on.
For sure.
So defenses are going to be aware of how he plays.
Bit of a double team.
Yep, for sure. All right, I'm going to go next. I'm going to go Dylan Lucas here.
Oof.
Yeah, we both love Big Dill. 2024, he had a 63 average playing back row, left center, right center. He was all over the fucking place, right? 55 base power. It's pretty impressive, honestly, to string together a 63 average with that sort of season where you were sort of missed to fix it. 2025, 76 average. He scored 5 tries, 63 in base power, 55 in pure base. I did say earlier that I like a 50 in pure base. 55 really gets things going downstairs. 69% of games above 60. Nice. 5 tries in 13 games. In a horrendous attacking team, I think that's a ridiculous strike rate, which there's two sides of that coin. It's like, okay, he did fantastic to score 5 tries in a bad attacking team, but the strike rate is going to be hard to back up. He averaged 67 without a try in 80-minute games. Now that's the fucking stat you guys need to hone in on. 67 average in 80-minute games without a try. That's elite. That's fucking elite, guys. So a 76 average in a year where his half was Fletcher Sharp, who is a run first, second, third, fourth type operator, in an attacking team that was absolute fucking dog shit, is just absolutely crazy. Brown comes in, likely to play left edge. We assume he's going to play left edge. My mind goes back to Dylan Brown playing with Sean Lane.
Sean Lane, Jesus, yeah.
And that, 2022, 2023, and the combination that they sparked up. But also how dangerous Brown is with the ball under his wing. That puts defenses in 2-3 minds when they're looking at him in attack when he's floating across field. It's like, okay, we really need to fucking mark up on this cunt because he's got a great left foot step. He's strong in contact. That just puts Dylan Lucas one-on-one with whoever he's running at. So if we do see this left attack, and I mean this left attack for the fucking Knights is starting to shape up to be very sexy Supercoach-wise. We're talking Brown, Dylan Lucas, Fletcher Sharp, Kalen Ponga on the fucking sweep. Sign me up. Sign me the fuck up, right? I'm just preaching to the choir with you, Wolf, because
for sure.
we're fighting over this guy's dick at the moment. I want to suck it.
Exactly. Look, and the one thing you got to take into account with the change in coaching, Holbrook, from what we've seen at the Titans, is a very attack-minded coach. So the fortunes are going to change a little bit chances are the fortunes are going to change in attack for the Knights next season, especially when you bring in guys like Brown, like you mentioned, Sandon Smith. I think they're going to add a bit more flair in attack that we haven't seen in the past from the Knights, and a fit Kalen Ponga. Like, yeah, they had their share of injuries last season, and it really showed in what the performances they made. But I mean, part of it was coaching as well. So we've seen the Knights be a bit of a staunch defensive team at times, but we've not seen them for a number of years be that real attack-minded team. So I think this could be a really changing of the guard of this side. And yeah, I'm really excited for the potential that Dylan Lucas has.
Yeah,
That whole left edge is ridiculous.
Strength of schedule is fantastic. If you're a round 26 grand final, you've got the Knights have got the 7th best strength of schedule, and Dylan Lucas has the best strength of schedule amongst left 2RFs. If you've got the round 27 grand final system, you've got the Knights who've got the 10th best strength of schedule, but Dylan Lucas has the 4th amongst left 2RFs. So they're the two systems.
And he even misses the round 27 bye. So it just goes to show how good the preceding matches are. Because they've got the round 27 bye, if you're around 25 or around 26 grand final, you only have to negotiate 2 buys through the season. That's
true.
So that is another little tick in the wins and losses column.
No origin.
No origin, no chance of origin. Pretty locked down position. Like he's, unless he gets injured again, which hopefully he doesn't, he's absolutely locked in on one of the edge rolls, predominantly the left. Yeah,
if this guy's round 3, if he sits there in round 3, I've won the lotto. Get in my side.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be right there. And the guy that we're going to talk about next, we'll probably only just skip over him, to be fair, but we've spoken to him to death. They'll probably go one after the other. So, and I'm talking obviously about Jacob Preston. Another guy who's got like a really good strength of schedule. Had, I would say, potentially a career year last year. So I've got my concerns as to whether he can back it up. 11 tries over the course of the season, 11 tries in 20 games. That's actually more than Hudson Young.
Yep.
Big question mark.
I originally was higher on Jacob Preston than I was on Dylan Lucas, but
we stoushed about it.
You brought me around on Dylan Lucas. Do I think Dylan Lucas is going to average 76? No, but I'll be drafting, if he averages 70, then that's what I think he can do, and that's where I'll be drafting him at. So
he's got the tools and the potential to average 85 in the side he's in, and if everyone clicks. But are we going to be drafting at that? You're a fucking idiot if you are. But that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you need to think about the potential of an uptick on certain players to really guide your decision if you're thinking about two players of similar odds.
Yeah. I would like both of them in my side. I just think there's more.
Sure.
I think there's more about Dylan Lucas. There's more to him, Dylan Lucas.
Like the base power and like the high end attacking output that he can achieve. Like that sold me straight away. When I dove into his stats when we were doing the team reviews, that's like I was like, this guy is beyond elite. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about our boy Bo Firma, and along with Dylan Lucas, losing the CTW duel is a huge kick in the taint, but we have to live with it. We have to move on. Both of them are going to be good in their own rights as a 2RF single entity. Now, Bo Firma, 67 average. He scored 10 tries. His CV is very low. It floats around those sort of high 20s, low 30s, 50 in pure base. Again, we love that. Games above 60, 63%. Love that. And the thing I like about Bo Firma is it took Titans a while to work out that left edge. Who's going to be playing out there? Like even what half was going to be out there, because Jaden Campbell started on the right, then he came back to the left, and they was floating over the right. Like it was all over the place. Dave Fafita, I want to be left. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole fucking team was just in turmoil, and he still was able to be a super consistent Supercoach scorer, Bo Firma, which to me just means there's room for growth there if this team can start the year as a cohesive unit, right?
Yeah.
So once they sort of started getting a little bit of a combination and there was a bit of a solidity in attack, from round 17 onwards, he averaged 68, 5 tries in 10 games. And I think that's where we can sort of peg him around that sort of high 60s, maybe a 70 average with Bo Firma, especially when you take into consideration how good the Titans' strength of schedule is. It's
That's
just fucking
outrageously
bullshit. And you guys will be sick of us talking about it, right? Round 25 grand final system, Titans 4, Bo Firma 3. Round 26 grand final system, Titans 1, Bo Firma 4. Round 27 grand final system, Titans 2, Bo Firma 3.
Yeah.
So Bo Firma has a top 4 strength of schedule amongst all systems amongst left 2RFs. Guys, that's fucking crazy. That shit just doesn't fucking happen, right? And wait till we talk about Jaden Campbell and AJ Brimson and all those, and Kinney. The list goes on with these Titans players. This is not the year to be fading Titans players, people. This is the year to be jumping on the cunts. And Bo Firma on this left edge with Jaden Campbell another year under his belt, knowing he's got the halfback role. Jaden Campbell only had 9 assists in 2025. You bet your dick there's going to be more of them in 2026. A few of them is going to go to Bo Firma. Keen on him. And I think he's going to slide. I think he's got he's got a little bit of dish soap on him, Bo Firma. He's going to be slippery. I think he's going to slide in drafts.
Yeah, there's no guarantees about which side he lands on because he's obviously played both. And like they've blown up that left side. So they don't have AKP anymore. BK's gone down to the Eels.
Which is, I think that's even better for him.
Randall's been a part-timer at like edge back row. Cleese has declared himself a middle.
I'll go out on a limb here and I'll say I guarantee you Bo Firma plays left edge.
I'm not going to say guarantee, but all signs are pointing to that. So,
but he kept Dave Fafita out of there.
Yeah. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't put it this way. He played right last season, but I wouldn't be surprised if he plays left this season.
Yeah, I think he lines up at left, and I think the fact that Brian Kelly isn't there and AKP isn't there, I just think he's going to be more of a focal point.
Well, there's going to be no cutout passes or kicks to the edge.
Yeah.
Like it is genuinely going to go through the hands. And Bo Firma, he's a lovely Supercoach asset because he will test the line. He will throw an offload. Yeah.
I wish he was CTW Jewel.
You have a look.
I'm
having a look through the top 60 that we've ranked. There is not a single fucking 2RF CTW duel in that top 60. I'm struggling to find a 2RF CTW until we get to fucking Jordan Samrani and Talak.
Because you're a real 2RF from years past.
That is my favorite. Because I spoke before at the start of this podcast that I like to have a high ceiling 2RF to cycle into the team. And if that guy's a dual, all the better. Because that means I can free up a position to have a utility or someone else to cover other positions.
Yeah, you're a slut. You're a 2RF CTW dual slut.
I'm just a dual slut, mate. I'm a dual slut. So I'm going to have to change my tact with my entire draft strategy this season, purely because of the dearth of duels. It is actually changing.
Let's be honest, mate. You're gonna have to change something because you haven't won. You're gonna have to fucking get back in the kit bag. You have to do something. You're gonna have to change it up a little bit, brother.
Look, let's be honest though. My drafting, i.e. the start of the season draft, has not had an impact. It's always back end of season. So
you gotta fix
doesn't necessarily. I'm the best drafter on this podcast.
You've had, if I'm honest, the seasons that you haven't drafted well, you've gone better in the season.
What do you mean? Which seasons?
In my memory, seasons that you've just banged on about how good you've drafted
one season.
The years that you bang on about how fucking good you drafted, you do nothing in. You don't go as far. The years that you're like, I did all right. You tend to go further.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe not get on here and gloat about how good you drafted. Maybe start.
Maybe that's the lesson out of this. Maybe that's
start
the lesson.
with that.
Yeah.
Just be real humble and go. It was
be humble,
right.
bitch. Be humble.
Could have been better. Could have been better.
Yeah. Could have.
Right, before we get into guns, because we're literally 2 categories in and we're an hour into this podcast, we're shaping up to be a 3-hour podcast here. Let's just mention Hamoli Olakawatu. He is my bust for the 2 RFs.
He had a down season last year as well.
This is an easy one for me. He averaged 58 in games where he didn't score a try.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the bust comes in for me, because I don't think he's going to score as many tries running outside.
He scored 5. He scored 5 tries last season.
Yep, I don't think he's going to.
You think he's going to score? Can we make it?
Well, maybe he scores the same.
Can we make a bet that he outscores what he did last season?
Well, let me get through my analysis before you start getting into me. I mean, we can say, you know what we say? We'll have a bet in a minute, but it won't be that. Okay. It'll be whether he's a bust or not. Because I think he's going to be a bust. That's what I'm getting at here. That he's a bust. So you either agree or you fucking disagree that he's a bust or not. So I'll give you the floor in a minute to say line breaks and tries. That's what he's good at, right?
Yep, agree.
That's why he's such a dangerous player. He's not one of these guys that I was talking about earlier, where he's got a 50 base, where he's out there tackling and running and doing all that. He's a fucking chalk sniffer. He's a cocaine cowboy. He wants that white line, right? I just don't fucking think that's going to be the case in 2026. You're coming off. How long's Olakawatu been in the league? 5 years.
Yeah,
coming off a 5-year span where you're literally running off, arguably, and maybe not arguably, maybe he is DCE, the most generous halfback towards 2 RFs in the last decade. Like, talk to me about another halfback that uses their 2 RF more than DCE does. It probably doesn't exist.
No.
DCE is the guy. He is the measuring stick that we've always measured halfbacks against when we talk about how they use their edge back rowers. Now, I talked about he doesn't have the base to carry him like an Angus Crichton or a Dylan Lucas does. And I think he'll eventually find a bit of a groove with Fogarty. It just won't be as good as DCE. It just won't be as good, right? And I've owned Olakawatu. And you watch him, he's so frustrating. It's like, bro, can we get a run? Can we get a run out of you? Can you go in and maybe have a run? Just a normal run, like on the 30-meter line. Without having, like, I get it that you like to run when you're 20 meters out and you're attacking the line, but we can just get a run out of you, like, out of that zone. I just can't see him beating last year's score. And that's why he's a bust for me. If you draft him at last year's score, you will be disappointed. I guarantee it.
Can I offer some counterpoints to your argument?
I would love to hear you counterpoint all that, because I nailed it.
No. Look, I don't 100% disagree with what you said, but you
shouldn't, because I'm right.
You're saying some things that not giving our rubber listeners all of the advice. Now, he had that 66.5 average from last season, but he had some injury-affected games in there. So you take those out. His average actually jumps up to a 72.3, which is actually pretty respectable. On top of that, you mentioned that he doesn't have a 50 floor. He's actually got a 52.8 base power average. So yes, he does have that 50-point base that we're talking about. And in 40% of games, even though it was a down year, 40% of games, he was over 80 points. And that's not even taking out those injury-affected games. So do I think he's going to be drafted at that 70 to 75 average?
Do you think he will beat 66?
I think there's a better chance he'll beat his average from last season than Huddy Young. I think I didn't ask that. Okay.
I asked, will he beat 66 in 2026?
I think he'll beat 5 tries.
That's not what I asked either. I asked, I mean, are you...
So initially I asked...
Is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with your brain? I'll ask it again. It's the third time. Do you think he'll beat 66? That's what he averaged in 2024. Do you think that's what he'll average in 2026? I don't think I could be any clearer there. Yes, it's an yes or no answer.
Sure, I think so.
Okay, sweet. $100 bet?
$100.
Yeah, of course.
I'm
Hello?
just trying to look. Oh, no, I'm still here.
Hello? Anybody home?
I'm still here. So
you can agree with me. It's okay if you want to agree with me.
I know.
I'm just asking you the question.
Every fiber of me does not want to agree with you. I just think like 65 to 70 is where he'll land. Fuck it, let's do it.
I like it. Good boy. Because if you had it declined, this could have gone out of control.
One of the reasons why I am agreeing to this, and you haven't really thought too hard about this, is whilst he loses DCE as the best and most giving to 2RFs, he receives the second best in Fogarty.
Really, though?
It's not, I mean, we're not exactly flush with options for giving to 2RFs, are we?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
but the drop off from DCE to Fogarty and how they use their 2RFs is massive.
It's massive.
It's huge. Yeah. My big worry is that he just doesn't have the output to carry him when he's not making line breaks and making a million tackle breaks. And yeah, I just look, do I think he's going to average 60, 62, 63? Probably. I just don't think he'll get 66.
Yeah. I mean, they have the potential to be more of a side-to-side team than they have been in the past.
You know what the other thing is that I thought about when I was doing this analysis is I guarantee you this Manly side is going to be left heavy.
Yeah, true.
Like no DCE, and what does Tom Trbojevic like to do? Sweep left, baby.
Gravitates left. Yeah.
All of a sudden, and we're talking about a Manly side who has been a 57% try scoring rate on their right edge because of DC. Like they've been the most dominant right edge for the last 2 to 3 years. That just won't be the case in 2026. I mean, it just won't be. I think Turbo's going to be their main ball player.
Is Garrick left and Colo's right?
No, Cola's left.
Right. No. Oh, they switched
right.
it. Garrick's right?
Yep.
Okay.
Right center.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's gonna cause some ripples. I still think he's like he didn't have a massive try scoring season like we saw from Huddy Young or anyone else. So can he get 5 tries again? Absolutely.
Still not a bad strike rate. Like he had 2 or 3 injury affected games, scored 5 tries in 11 games. Still a pretty good strike rate.
15 games. But if you take out the injury affected ones, maybe 13.
That's what I'm doing. I've made the quick math before got to catch up, bro.
Games, so. Got
to catch up. No,
that's all right. I caught up. I just corrected you. That's all.
We'll see. $100. $100, baby. 66. 66 average, which is funny because 66. You agree with me earlier on in the preseason. So I was a little bit surprised about the backflip.
No, I like to create ripples, and look, I saw an opportunity, and I'm taking it with both hands.
No, it's good because you're wrong. So I like it. It's good. We were both right.
Cut that up, and
we were both right at one point, and then you took a wrong turn there somewhere. All right, let's get into the sweet spot. Oh, that's good gear. I like it. Well done.
That's your sweet spot right there.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck. Oh my god. Fuck yeah.
Now you've got Isaiah Yeo here. Probably don't agree with that. He'll go earlier. But
he'll go earlier. Does he deserve to go earlier? I think he's been overdrafted in previous years.
He's got to have a bounce.
He's not a 70 average.
It's coming off a 62 average. I mean, it's very low for him, isn't it? He's got to have a bounce back year. It's just not him.
But last year was the only year. I mean, not last year. Sorry. 2024 was the only year he's averaged over 70. Like, where is the preconception that he's a fucking 70 average player?
Well, 69 the year before.
Oh, yeah, but then 66, which I see him as more of that sort of realm.
It was also 4 years ago. But yeah, I agree with you.
Three.
I agree with you. 66. Yeah, I agree with you.
And
so it's better than 62.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. He's going to have a bounce back year.
I'm sorry. I'm just in that adversarial sort of fucking mindset.
Yeah, fucking hell. It's okay, bro. It's okay. I get that you're trying to go against me, but it's okay when I'm right to agree with me.
It doesn't happen often enough. But
games, so are we going to think Isaiah Yo is going to beat 62 average? Like, let's break it down.
Yeah, of course he is.
That's what I'm fucking trying to say, brother.
In injury-affected games, though, you take those out, 64.5 average, which gets him closer to where we're thinking he'll be worth.
Or where we're thinking, or where I'm thinking.
Well, I'm thinking 67 is where I've pegged him.
I like it. Nice bounce back year.
It's
okay, bro. It's when I'm right, I'm right. It's okay.
The one thing that detracts from every single Panther is the strength of schedule for the Panthers is bloody awful. No matter what strength, what final system you're working with, whether you're talking about the start of the season,
I think that's better for him, though, right?
No, for him, it doesn't necessarily matter because he's obviously that lock base heavy type.
I would probably rather him come up against good teams than poor teams. I don't want the Panthers slinging it side to side and scoring a lot of points. I want tackles. I want hit ups. I want the game to be won in the middle for Isaiah Yo to score 70 points, right?
Yeah.
So he's probably the type of guy where you look at the strength of schedule like, actually, that's quite good. That's what I want. I want him playing Storm. I want him playing Dogs because when they're whiteboarding it up, they're probably looking at him like going, Isaiah, this is your game. This is the game where you're going to have to lift and lead us from the front. So I kind of like it.
In reality, like you mentioned, his base power average is pretty close to the mark of what you're going to get. So he had a base power average of 58.1. You take out those injury-affected games, that goes up close to a 60 average for base power. So that's your floor you're working from. Anything else is just gravy from there.
Not a bad little classic pickup too. I think that 62 is fucking ridiculous. That's way too low.
Yeah.
Way too low. All right, bro. This
10K. We'll talk about him later.
This whole sweet spot is green. You've picked about 1 billion players to talk about. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm only going to be touching on a few of these. So, Jaden Sewer.
I told you in the lead up to all this, I was like, you just pick 7 players, bro. Then I start looking through these run sheets, and there's like 15 players that are highlighted with your name next to them.
Oh, bro, I've got like 5 words to say.
You're like a dog that's been kept up too long in the house, and you're pissing over every player that you fucking want to talk about. And I have a look at it and I go, oh, well, let's see what he's got to say, because he obviously wants to talk about every fucking 2RF on the list. Well, let's see what you got, bro.
Okay. Can I talk now?
Well, I hope so, because you've literally highlighted everyone.
Right. So
I'm looking forward to this. I'm a listener as well. I haven't done the study on these players because you said you're doing it. So I'm keen to listen to you. I hope you've got good points.
Are you doing this on purpose? Like, Jesus Christ. Shut the fuck up and let me fucking talk.
I've got you on the ropes. That's why I'm building here, people.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, Jaden Sewer. Now, we shut up. We fucking shut up.
Come on, mate.
We last preseason, I should say, we had our suspicions that he might not be able to live up to what we saw when he was next to Hunt. Blew that out of the water last season. Busted out a 63 average, 65.2 when you take out injury affected games, and a base power of 56.9. So look, he is elite. For elite, I think he can make the step up. Look, am I going to be drafting him at a 70 average? Absolutely not. Am I going to be drafting him at a 65? Why the fuck not? Yeah, next.
I like him, and we talked about him in the Just the Tip series. I think he averaged like 61 or 62 in the first 13 rounds before he scored a try in Dragon's side.
And he only scored 4 tries in that season. Scored 4 tries in that season as a whole. You bring Atkinson into that side, possibly a little bit of more solidity with Holmes being there for the full season, not being injured.
Yeah,
I think there's a bit of an uptick in the whole side.
Jaden Su is snoring. He's very sleepy.
Oh, he's a big sleeper.
Sleepy.
Big sleeper.
Yep. Lots of Zeds.
Yeah. Next guy, Dave Fafita. I've got him as my boom. I mean,
Okay,
every single bit of value has been sucked out of him with Classic Tour. But yeah, he's obviously going to beat his 49.6 average from last season. You take out his injury-affected games, though, and there were a couple. His average jumps up to a 60.7. So not like an absolute trash bag when you consider how poor his season was as a whole. You bring him into the bunny side. Look, there is a lot of ways this can go. And we don't know necessarily how they're going to be using him. They could be using him in like 30-minute sessions, like 60 minutes total. Fuck, they could be using him through the middle for all we know. Big question marks around it. So it is a riskier pick, but we know the high-end potential that he's got.
When would you draft him?
I think if you want to bring him in, and look, this is a question that a few of the rubbers have asked when we've released our top 30, and we've recently released the top 60 Tour Fs. We actually had Dave Fafita a lot higher in our top 30 than we have in the Tour F ranks. And look, if I'm honest, we're blinded a little bit by potential here in the top 30 ranks. And look, early on in the preseason, I was a massive believer in what Fafita could do, because I've been an owner when the times are really good. I've been an owner when the times are really bad. And yeah, it's a tough one. There's no easy answer with it. But I think
you're definitely bigger on him than I am. I'm
okay. You're more recently butthurt than I am.
I'm okay to just let him go this season because I don't know. I don't know what's going on, right? And to be honest, I know that people are going to have a gut pick and they're going to pick him, and maybe if that works, good on you. But it's just too much uncertainty around David Federer at the moment.
Yeah, like if I'm honest, where we've got him in the Tour F ranks compared to the top 30 overall, I'm more comfortable with the Tour F ranks than I am with the top 30. I think we've brought him up too high in the top 30 ranks, personally.
Yeah, well, fucking drop that cunt.
But there is insane potential there. Like he can get back to that 85 average player, or even more in that team. That left edge is just outrageous. But yeah, it's then
again,
kind of
it's
that comment.
It's that left edge with Cody Walker as well.
And what position means the least in that bunny side? It's that left edge back row.
These are the things that worry me about him. Yeah, that's it.
Jacob Host, who's he?
Yeah, I just want to look at David Federer for 2026.
Yep.
And not
I need to see a few preseason trials at the very least to see how that side lines up.
Yep. And honestly, I don't think you're going to get a huge gauge on what it is going to be, just because there's so many forwards that are going to need time in the trials that I just don't think you'll get a good indication of like minutes or where he's going to play. I reckon they play a little bit of edge, play a little bit of middle. I think you'll see him do a lot of things, but you've also got Cameron Murray that's got to come back. He's got to get some time in the trials. You've got Ewan Aiken. You've got Jacob Host. You've got fucking who's the weapon that played edge?
Tallis Duncan.
Tallis Duncan. I mean, they've all got to get some minutes under their belt in the trial. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Hats off to anyone that picks him and it works out. Just not for me. Not for me. Right, I will talk about my boom for the 2026 season in the 2RF position. That is Siwa Wong. Big Wong guy. I love the Wong. Get the Wong in me, around me. I'm all about the Wong.
Not 100% locked into the position, though.
Well, I will say that he is.
Okay.
And you can clip it up. You can clip it up if you want. I think he plays 80 minutes on that right edge. Average 62 and 70 plus minute games. in the back row, that's 8 points of value already. So just in 80-minute game, 70, not even 80-minute games, 70+ minute games, you're getting 8 points of value straight up. Now, yes, there's no certainty of anything. Are we certain DC is going to be right? No. Are we certain Siwa Wong's going to play right edge? No. But let's just say we are. We're certain DCE is going to be right, and we're certain Siwa Wong's going to be right edge. Hello the fuck. We just talked about DCE being the best halfback for edge back rowers in the game over the last decade. Straight away, there's value there, right? Now Siwa Wong's running off one of the best in the business. He scored 3 tries in 2025, Siwa Wong. You could add 7 onto it
He can
for
do
the
better
2026 season. Like, he could score 10 tries in 2026 running off DCE if he gets big minutes. And what I love the most about Siwa Wong is how stretched the defense will be. Who do you think on that right edge they're doing fucking mountains of video? Mark?
Yeah.
Nawanga Itawase. They will have to stay out wide and pressure Mark, right? Now you've got one of the best halfbacks to ever do it coming in, dishing balls, kicking bombs, right? That defense on that left edge for whoever's coming up is going to have to be on point. Stretch defenses means these big boys are going to be on one-on-one against most likely the opposing half. Wong will score tries. He will score more tries than last season. He'll be isolated. That's what you want. And DCE will definitely identify that. We're talking about DCE now. I'm a fucking moron sitting here half pissed,
There's no
and I'm identifying it. I'm saying that you're using Mark Nawangitawase, you're stretching defenses so that you get a one-on-one Wong. Do you think DCE isn't thinking about that? I mean, this could be Wong's season. We've heard Guru talk about Siwa Wong for a couple of seasons, how big he is on. We do trust another moron, Guru, but we do trust his judgment when it comes to kids coming through. There's no fucking player that he's been bigger on than Siwa Wong. This could be his year. I think there's massive value in Siwa Wong for the 2026 season.
Look, I'm going to add a little bit of weight to your argument there too. I'm pretty sure he's in a contract year. So that adds fuel to the fire. Like, kerosene is all over that shit.
Are we thinking the Bears might be in the conversation for Wongy?
I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
We just signed that Luke Loalele.
Yeah, Loalele. He's outside back.
Signing. Good
outside
signing.
Back
Good signing.
Depth signing.
There's good signings to start to flood in for the Bears. Let's go. Anyway, I digress. Yes, I love that contract.
A few more Sean Russells. Yeah.
Well, we've gone up since Sean Russell. That was the down point in the recruitments.
That was not a good sign. But yeah, everything's looked up.
So, mate, I'm very big on Siwa Wong. Even with the 54 average that he's sitting on, he had a couple
you take out heavily injured games. Yeah, 58.2 is his average. Like the base power, he's floating around that 50 average. And look, you look across the season, he only averaged 64 minutes. Like if he's a nailed down edge back rower and not coming off the bench and whatever, you bring that up to 80 points, 80 minutes. He's going to be getting a nice, tidy little bump.
At the very least, I see him as a 60-point edge back rower, which is 6 points boom value.
Yep. I think 60 is entirely achievable.
Yep. But I am happy to reach for him at a 65 average. I think it all could fall into place for Siwa Wong this year.
Now, one guy that I think I would be reaching for, going for, or 3 guys actually, that I'd be going for ahead of Siwa Wong. That is Zaya Papali'i, Toby Couchman, and Leka Halasima.
Would ya? Leka Halasima over Siwa Wong?
A bit of second-year syndrome potential, but, I mean, you take out his games where he started off the bench and had limited minutes, that 51.4 average turns into a 59.8.
I'm not confident he starts.
Well, I've got big concerns about a drop-off from him, and that's why he's not a boom or anything for me. He scored 12 tries last season. 12 tries.
Well, that's the regression there.
That's a regression risk if I've ever seen one. But have you seen they can't play?
For sure.
Like if there's anyone who can back that up, it's that type of player.
But so is the Warriors coaching staff, and they still bench him.
That's true. And that's one of the reasons why I'm high on him, but like I'm not put my cock on the chopping block high on him.
I'd draft Wong over him for sure.
I wouldn't, because I'm more certain that out of the two, I think Leka's probably a better chance to get to. Actually, let's go side by side. Who do you think outscore if both of them start? Absolute guaranteed start. Who do you think scores better?
If both of them
and
start,
plays 80.
Leka Halasima for sure.
Fair.
I don't think Leka is going to start though. That's what I'm saying. That I would.
Andrew Webster
I think there's a better
times.
I think there's a better chance that Siwa Wong plays 80 minutes on the edge than there is the Leka Halasima.
I absolutely agree. Look, Andrew Webster came out a few times, especially towards the back end of the season, when people were asking why isn't Leka playing 80 minutes, and he simply said he just wasn't ready. Until we hear something from Andrew Webster to the effect that he's ready to play 80 minutes or like he owns that position, I'm probably steering clear, if I'm honest.
Also, I think there's more value in Wong as well. Everyone loves Leka Halasima. Leka Halasima is going to get overdrafted. You might get Wong a whole round later than Leka Halasima.
Oh, absolutely. When you consider like his average from last season was 51.4, and there's the classic talk on top of it, because that the round 1 to 8 strength of schedule is insane. He's got the best strength of schedule. Everyone's going to be on his dick. So yeah, look, I still think out of those guys, Toby Couchman and Isaiah Papali'i, I'm a little bit keener on those two than Siwa, but I understand where you're coming from, mate.
I don't mind Toby Cashman, Jewel. IPAP's an interesting one, but again, like there's a lot of
we just don't. There's a lot of moving parts, and the start and the end of the season, the start and the end of the season for Isaiah Papali'i from a strength of schedule perspective is awful. A lot of moving parts there.
I love IPAP. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know what's going
on. I'll be talking about him as my chub rub later, because look, yeah, I'm probably going to be reaching for him. Not heavily, but I feel like the drop off is not going to be as significant as the potential uptick if things play out like we need them to.
Yes, so your chub rub will be IPAP, mine will be Kai Pearce-Paul. So for everyone listening at home...
honestly, he's another one that I would actually pick him above Siwa Wong, because if anyone is nailed on, Kai Pearce-Paul, no one's near him as a starting right edge.
Please talk about Kai Pearce-Paul. Don't you?
I've got no doubt, mate. You've got it all.
Don't you fucking worry about KPP. I got him fucking covered like white on rice. So if you want to listen to the in-depth analysis of Isaiah Papali'i and Kai Pearce-Paul, you're going to have to be a Rub Club subscriber. That's where our player and focus exclusive rubdowns will be available over there. So go check those out. So we'll skip those two players. Who else you want to? We're starting to get through this sweet spot here. Who else you want to? You've got Teague Wilton, Sean Bloor, Hamish Stewart. These guys highlighted.
So I'll talk about two concurrently. So Teague Wilton and Sean Bloor.
Them, and I will go get a beer.
I've got both of those as my sleepers. Now Teague Wilton had a massively down year last year. Like he only had the 3 tries, and we've seen in the past that he can get up towards that 7 tries per season sort of average. Coincided a little bit with the down year from Braden Tricky Trindle. So look, I totally think that we're going to be seeing a little bit of an uptick in the attacking output. We didn't see too much of a drop off in his base power average, but his base power average is close enough to that 50 mark that I think that any uptick is going to be fucking awesome. Sean Bloor, it's almost rinse and repeat from what I just said about T. Wilton. Only had the 2 tries last season, has the 48.2 base power average, and look, in non-injury affected games, had a 55.8 average. Look, if you're drafting in that 55 average from the 53.1 average from last season, I think that's money. And then when you consider that there's no Eli Katoa in the side, a lot of the attacking prowess is going to come from that left edge. So through money, all the way out through the hands, through to Coates. So look, I think there is definitely potential for an uptick in Sean Bloor, and you'd be mad not to consider that him as an option. Now, moving across, Hamish Stewart is another one that I think he can build on last season's performances.
Back.
Nice. Yeah, Hamish Stewart is definitely another one that I think can have a bit of an uptick in his last season performances. So 41.1 average from last season, obviously played a fair bit from the bench and had a few injury-affected games. You take those out, jumps up to a 50 average. And I don't think he strays too far from that, but he is definitely a value pickup and a 2RF that, look, you can get it late in the draft. No one's looking at him, and he's definitely a base heavy type of guy. And he's one that I would be picking up maybe like around 11, round 12 sort of situation. Yeah, I think that's probably where I place him, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the Dragons predicted team list here that we've got. Hamish Stewart at 13. Obviously, with Dylan Egan to return on the edge at some point during the season. Jaden Seward's obviously going to be
you got no
edge.
No Jack DeBellin anymore. He's shuffled on. You're probably going to have an increase in the impact of Cookie floating through the lock position at times. So that's something to take into consideration. But look, you look at the average minutes played last season, he had 38 minutes on average. So I think there's a massive uptick there. At a 1.08 ppm, I think there's a huge potential increase in his score. And I think 55 is possibly where I'm seeing him. But I'm not going to be drafting him at that because I don't think you need to. So I think, yeah, be patient with him. Definitely keep an eye on him because I think he can definitely be a bit of a stalwart option in your TRF.
Yeah, and look, guys, there's a lot of players here that we've got pegged for the sweet spot, which is picks 31 to 70, rounds 4 to 7, because we believe that this is the period in the draft where you can do some damage in the 2RFs.
And I think
stats
we're talking about this is where we see that value. Now, yes, if you pick up Hamish Stewart in this realm, that's fine. It's at value, but I think you can easily get him cheaper because no one else is looking at him that hard.
Yep. And like I'll probably talk about a little bit more about this
anyway.
in strategy a little bit later, but stats suggest over the past 3 years that 2RFs, yes, it's nice to have one of these tier 1 guys that's going to average 65 plus, maybe 70 plus. That's cool. But you can really do a lot of damage post round 5 in the 2RF spot because they're consistently performing late. So picks that are they're getting picked up late, so like rounds 5, 6, 7, 8, they're consistently performing, getting between 60 and 69 points on average, and this is over the last 3 years. So just keep that in mind, that if, just say you've prioritized CTW, halfback, fullback, whatever in the first 4 or 5 rounds, that that's still a really good strategy. You're actually falling into how things have worked over the past 3 years as 2RFs. If you pick them up round 4, 5, 6, that's a perfect spot. And that's why we've got so many 2RFs ranked here in this sweet spot. Whereas earlier, Wook and I'd be like, no, you need to jump on round 3.
Yeah. And that's what I said at the very start. So look, the winds have shifted a little bit with the importance of the position and how early you want to get in there. Because the rhetoric we used to have over the last few years was in your first 5 rounds, you want to have at least one 2RF, you want to have a couple of CT dubs, and you want to have a couple of spine positions sorted. But I think the winds are shifted, man. I think, yeah, you want to be pushing Tour a little bit more because there's more value later in the draft.
It's almost like CTW and Tour F have just swapped places.
100%,
importance.
100%.
Yep, I totally agree. All right, a guy I want to talk about is Trent Liero. Not a sexy name at all. He is my sleeper, though. I do like him because no one... I mean, who the fuck's drafting Trent Liero? The answer to that is nobody is. That means, yeah, he's Sleeping Beauty in drafts, people. But when you start diving into the numbers, it starts making a little bit of sense that why you would pick him up, right? When you look at the 2025 season, his minutes, they're all over the place. But then, obviously he got the rep call up and he was mammoth in Origin. I thought he was fantastic.
From the clouds and killed it.
Yeah, which is what the fucking Maroons do. We just pick cunts that'll just do the damn thing, do the job. Now, if you can lock down 60 minutes on a consistent basis, that's what I'm looking for here. If you're getting him late, 63 average in games over 60 minutes, not going to set the world alight. I'm not saying go pick him because he's going to have, those 8. He probably will never score over 70, but no Katoa, no Nas coming off a rep year. Just let it marinate for a second in the sense that this is a guy that you can get very, very late. I'm talking round 10.
Super late.
And he could possibly average 60. He could be that consistent guy for the Storm that just churns through his work. He probably will get picked for Origin again because he is, he's just that fucking guy.
Billy relied on him and he did the job, so he'll get another call up.
It's the consistency that I think he'll fix up, right? It's 57 in a fucking weird year. Like when I looked at that 57 average, I was like, what? What did he average? 57. Yeah. And then I looked at it, I was like, yeah, and then he's got like some weird low games where he played fucking fuck all minutes and he's coming off Origin. I was like, I don't know, there's some potential here for him to go better in 2026. And to beat 57 for a guy that won't get drafted, I just think no one's even looked at this fucking cunt at all. I didn't. And I looked at it, I was like, hang on a second.
He suffered a fair bit with rotation with Nas and a few others in through the middle. Look, I think with Nas leaving, that does give him a bit more certainty with his minutes. So I think the 61 average minutes from last season, I think there is a marginal uptick from there, which when you've got a PPM close to 1, it does have an impact. So I think on that alone, I think a bit of an uptick closer to 60 is 100% reasonable.
And even, like, I'm happy if he still averages 61, but it's a consistent 61. Like, because you've got games where he played 80 and 70, but then you got games where he played 40 and 50 minutes. If that just tidies up where he plays 60 minutes every game, you're just going to get 60 points every game.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I'm marginally concerned about is the 4 tries for a middle, like a lock. It's a bit high, especially with the type of lock that he is. Yeah, that's the only detraction. But look, I still think he's going to be somewhere around about the 57 to 60 odd average.
Even if he averaged 55, even if he went backwards, where you'll draft him, it's still going to be it's still going to be value. I'm telling you, no one's drafting this gun.
At the end of the day, his base power average from last season was 53.6. You don't fall away that much. Like it's worth having the stab at it.
For sure. I mean, this is the type of player when you've got all the guns and you're looking at your team, you go, it's looking good, and there's just scraps sitting there. And usually you would see Trent Liero and you go, don't know about that. This year, I'll be like, in you come, champ. You're up next. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sleepy. Very sleepy. All right, bro. Anyone else you want
to? There are 2 more guys I want to talk about, and they're very quick. I promise you. So Jordan Ricky, he was super.
I've got another beer, bro. I'm in for the long haul. You take your time.
Good. Yeah, Jordan Ricky, super dependable. just lacks the attacking stats. Unfortunately, he plays for a team that does not attack through their edge back rowers. So, look, don't be dreaming for like a 60 to 65 average from Jordan Ricky. What you're going to get is your 55 to 60 average and nothing more. And that's the harsh truth, really. So 55.7 average from last season, 57.2 when you take out injury-affected games, 52.1 base power. So that's pretty tasty. Just the 2 tries, but look, as good as he is, I just don't see that going up too much more.
He made one of the lists for one of the best CVs. Talk to me about his CV.
So his CV is 0.25, so 25%. So that's actually ridiculous for an edge back rower. Like you don't see that. You do not see that. You do not see that. Like that is prop areas. Look, and like it really talks to the fact that you're relying when you're looking at his scoring, you're relying so heavily on that base power average, and that's why his CV is so low, is because you don't see the fucking tries. But you also don't see low games because he's got such a good floor. Anyway, he's set and forget, 55 to 60. If you draft him to 55, you're going to be happy. It's not going to drop too much from there. Other guy I want to talk about is Cameron McInnes. You mentioned earlier that he's actually aiming for a round 1 to 8 start. That is I did not know that it was that early.
I just Googled that to make sure that, he's aiming to be ready.
Okay, that changes my strategy.
Potential
draft to change my strategy.
Trial game.
For everything.
He's trying to make a trial game. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, that changes like a whole bunch of things. We've got him in the rankings at the moment at 39 in 2F. We need to be bringing him up a lot. So he averaged 59.6 in non-injury affected games last season with a 59.4 base power average. Look, he's dropped off a little bit in recent years. But he's still a stalwart. He is.
Maybe you put him down for a little bit less, like a 55 or something. You draft him at a 55.
Look, I think I'm saying he's going to probably come up to maybe a 33 ranking rather than the 39 that we've got him. So it comes up a little bit.
I like that.
So just ahead of like a Jair or a Hamish Stewart. So look, I think that's probably where I see him. Much earlier in the season than I thought he was going to be. But I mean, the beauty that you get is the PPM, high PPM. He's just a bulldog when he gets out there, just getting into all the tough stuff. So I love that. And look, 3 tries from last season. I don't know whether he gets that again, but mate, it's he's definitely an interesting one from my perspective.
100%, bro. 100%. Contract year.
I'd honestly put a red Sharpie through him. Because I thought he was coming in around like 15 or something. But yeah.
He's interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's keep this moving. We are on to... now I've lost my place. Bargain basement. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there.
The battle of wits has begun.
Well, that's the way bargain basement works.
I'm very aroused.
All right, pick 71 to 110, rounds 8 to 11 in a 10-man league. That's where we're sitting at now. We've got guys like Jermaine McEwen, Kobe Hetherington, Garner, Trey Mooney, Chris Randall, Alex Twal, Xavier Willison, Connolly Lemuelu, Simi Sasagi, Brendan Piakura, Tom Gilbert, Benny Travojevic, Victor Radley, Dimitri Vamunga, Jesse Caholquin, Kurt Donahue, Dylan Egan are some of the guys that are in this category. What?
Jessica Holquin.
That'll do.
That's awesome.
Mate, if you can pronounce that last name any better with 5 tallies under your belt, go ahead.
That's fair. That's fair. No one's adding up those 4.
Okay. Let's kick it off with my guy, Jermaine McEwen.
Yeah.
Now, all I want to say is, and it's pretty simple in this analysis, he averaged 58 and 80-minute games, and he has a 47 in pure base in those games. Now, it's not a huge sample size, but that's what he's capable of. And plus, the eye test. When I watch this cunt play, he looks like a great white caught in a net. He's violent, this cunt. He is violent.
Yeah,
So, mate, just every time he runs the ball, it just looks like he wants to elbow every motherfucker in the head, which I love. I love that shit. I reckon he starts on that right edge. I think that's his. And I mean, at this point, we're taking punts, aren't we? Like, it's the back end of the draft. And if you get a guy that you have an inkling that's going to play 80 minutes on the right edge with this type of potential, I think he is a sleeper. He's a big time sleeper. The only guy that I feel like could take his spot is now his name's escaping me. Yeah, it's him. Mooney be middle. He won't be edge. Mooney definitely won't be edge, but Kent won't. He can be.
Kent can.
I reckon Tyson Frizzell will be front row forward because they don't have any.
Yeah, they need him to be front row forward. To be fair, I'm just looking through the rest of the options. Brody Jones has played edge. He's not fantastic at it, so he'll probably play through the middle. Look, yeah, I think he is the most logical option.
And McEwen did play edge when Thomas Cant was available too.
With a different coach, With a different coach. So
well,
throw that in the bin.
For sure. But maybe that's where he is in the pecking order.
But all we can do is just based on what information we have in front of us. So yeah, he is recency bias. Yes, he has the nearest start.
58 and 80 minutes. Nice. I mean, it's fucking better than the other cunts we've got in this list. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Kobe Hetherington's an interesting one. Comes down from the Broncos. Never really nailed down a starting position. Comes down potentially going to start at lock. Look, if he gets that starting role at lock, I think you can probably peg him in at a 55 average. Has a 1.04 ppm. Look, it remains to be seen what he'll do in higher minutes. He had a 42-minute average, so haven't really seen him in big minute games too often. So, yeah, I'll be watching the preseason very closely with Kobe Etherington just to see how that all plays out. But he's a little bit sleepy as well. He's a bit more of a classic target, so I think the value is going to be sucked out of him. Similar to McEwen a little bit. I think as soon as we get a little bit closer to round one, I think McEwen, if he gets named in the position, I think he's definitely going to be highly owned as well.
It's a tough spot to be searching for your 2RFs this late in the draft. That's why we sort of harped on that sweet spot. It really is the sweet spot for 2RFs. Because a lot of them will fall. And then when they fall, it does fucking topple off the side of a cliff quite quickly.
Yeah. So, this is why doing your work.
And this is why we sort of say this is the time that you pop your head in to your 5/8s, to your front row forwards, to your hookers, because everything else is dry. If you've done it right, you've picked those players.
Get yourself another CT dub. Yeah.
For sure. 100%. There's definitely more value at this point in the draft, late at CTW, than there is 2RFs.
Oh, definitely.
You go.
I was about to say you want to have at least 2 2RFs by, say, round 7. So you almost want to have like one in round 5 or 6, and then another one in round 7 or 8, and then you get a couple more a bit later on in the draft, just as. Have a few stabs. So you have a stab at Jermaine McEwen. You have a stab at someone like Chris Randall that we'll talk a little bit about later, or a stab at someone else that you think has a bit of potential as well. Look, I think that's the type of play that I'll be running with this season, just because there's no fucking jewels.
That's why I love our setup with the 2 2RFs and the 2 CTWs, because it works perfectly in how my mind works for strategy in your draft, just perfectly. Like at this point in the draft, pick 71 plus, I've already got my 2 2RFs and my 2 CTWs. Exactly. Yeah, I'm done, baby. Sure, I'm all thrown up in those areas. Yeah, okay, let's talk about Chris Randall now. Do you think he will lock down that right edge back row spot?
Well, I think, I mean, as long as there's a little bit of certainty that that there is that switch happening, then look, we've already heard Cleese Haas in an interview say he sees himself as a middle. He is a middle. He's not. His days of edge back row are gone. So that opens up the position for Chris Randall massively. New coach, so we can't have anything certainty until we see some trials team lists and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, I'm a lot more certain than I was before. He's definitely the type of player that I think he averaged about 58 in games that he was starting edge back row. So I'm not hating it. Not hating it at all.
Is he dual? Is he hooker tour F dual?
He's not. He is not. No, he's tour F only. Unfortunately, lost the hooker. That would have sent him up the ranks a little bit, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, this late in the draft, I'm really dialing in on Jules. Jules definitely get a bump up in where I should take them, because you're obviously trying to fill some, especially in the bargain basement and Hail Mary picks. You've got some bench spots that you want to you pick up, and you definitely do want to fill those bench spots with dual position players. So, and I mean, the guy that you've got highlighted here fits the bill, and we talked about him in the Front Row Forward podcast, and it's Xavier Wilson.
Yeah, I just wanted to give him another mention because, look, if you're looking for a guy to fill a couple of positions, even as you like your first bench spot or like one of your bench spots, like I think this could be the year that Xavier Wilson explodes. He's been hampered by injuries in seasons gone by, and look, we're starting to see the best out of him. He is a hulking sort of player, and look, surely this is a season where he overtakes Jensen in the pecking order. I think at some point he is like that 1-2 attack that they've got when Jensen comes off and he comes on, and then you've got him and Haas on the field. Holy shit. It can be pretty oppressive from Broncos perspective. So look, I'll be surprised if they don't trial him as a starting prop at some point. But there is also some word that Brendan Piakura has already hurt his knee. So we could be seeing Xavier Wilson start the season on the edge as well. And we do like him isolating his opposing half. So yeah, there's a lot of ticks to be had with Xavier Wilson, and I think that there's some positives out of it, but preface it with what I was talking about with Jordan Ricky. They don't use their edge back rowers that much, so I don't fall into the trap of not anymore anyway. Fall into the trap of like glazing players that, especially from the Broncos that are playing on the edge, because mate, they're not going to be scoring tries.
No, that's true. That's very true. All right, we've got a couple other guys. Connolly Lemuelu. We sort of talked about this at length with some of the Dolphins forwards. There's a billion of them. We could throw Tommy Gilbert in there as well. Just be wary about drafting any Dolphins forwards just because there's so many of them, and there's just going to be such a healthy rotation of these middles. And we've seen how good Connolly Lemuelu can be off the bench. That we talked about it at length last year. Like, this guy needs 80 minutes, and no matter how many tries he scored, no matter how many fucking line breaks he made, he just never got the 80-minute role. So why would he get it in 2026? So just keep that in mind. I'm going to be there's a 99.8% chance that I won't have any Dolphins forwards in my draft team.
Look, I'm looking through, and there's not too many Dolphins forwards that I'm interested in. Like outside backs, oh yeah, big time. But yeah, the forwards, there's just too many options there when they're all fit.
Yep. A guy that we got listed here, Dylan Egan, obviously coming back from ACL, late pick.
Late.
Does he come back into this?
I'm talking like round.
Does he come straight back into this Dragon side, or maybe he doesn't? That's the thing. Like,
look, you've got Jacob Hullig now. He played towards the back end of the season at the starting edge back row spot on the left side. There's talk, and I've seen from a few parties talking about the preseason that Luciano Leilua is having. He's also in a contract year, so look, between him and his brother, like BJ, they both sort of turned up in contract years and absolutely had an absolute gangbuster of season.
True.
So, look, we haven't got Luciano Leilua in the top 60 of TRFs, but look, he's a shot at the stumps for sure.
He's probably worth in this bargain basement. If you're a believer,
if he's your last pick in the draft, you could do a lot worse. 43 average from last season, did not score a single try across the 23 games that he played. Safe to say, it's probably the biggest down year that he's had. He needs to turn something on to get another contract because the contract that he's on at the moment is overs, and it was overs when he signed. I don't know what the fuck the Dragons were thinking. He's on about 700K, mate.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just like ridiculous.
A couple of guys that I do like in this, talking dual position players, Josh Curran, Alex Twal, Jack DeBellin, Xavier Wilson, you mentioned him, Jai Arrow, just guys that have got dual next to their name. These are the guys I want. I'll just be picking out of duels at this point.
Yeah, look, I like a bit of a shot at the stumps at someone like a Trey Mooney. Look, if he can get that starting role, sky's the limit for him. He is a special type of player. Spoke about him a little bit in the front row forward potty, but I think there's that they've cut us off at the knees with the dual options, unfortunately.
Running out of steam here with these guys, that's for sure. Let's get into the Hail Mary.
Hail Mary time here, 4 seconds.
We're going to bet it all. You son of a bitch. I'm in.
So I just mentioned dual position players. You should only be picking dual position players when your picks 110 plus, rounds 12 plus. If you're picking non-dual players, it's because there's some crazy value that's fell in your lap. Like, this is where I would pick like Sifa Talakai, is that they're not startable week in, week out, but if there's an injury, they're going to be big, but also they fill 2 spots. So Sifa Talakai is a perfect pick in rounds 12 plus on your bench for me, because if there's an injury on either center spot, even wings, you could move the centers out to the wing and he can come in at center. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a perfect late 2RF pick on your bench for mine. I really like him.
As a shy at the stumps, though, and he's actually not dual position, he will start the season. I don't know how many games he'll get under his belt, but Helam Lukey returns from the ACL. He was pretty much ready to go towards the back end of last season, but look, he has had over 12 months recovery on his ACL, so he should be really good to go from a performance perspective as well. Nanai is injured to start the season, so he should get a couple of games under his belt. From all accounts, he was the better prospect out of him and Nanai, and we've seen how good Nanai has been. Look, I might be looking at having a shot at the stumps at him very late in the draft, like last pick. But there's a raft of options, if I'm honest.
What about is it the Lasardi that's going to line or possibly line up on the right edge for the Melbourne Storm? Obviously, you've got Joe Chan there as well. They can do a job out there.
The problem is, I think there's going to be time sharing. So he might get 50 minutes and Joe Chan might get 30 or vice versa. I just think that it's just going to be a dog shit position on that right now.
I think in this spot in the draft, though, rounds 12 plus.
Oh, you have a dig, mate.
I think you pick up Lasardi, because if somehow they go, you're the guy, you're going to get 80, and now he's running off Jerome Hughes, and we didn't mention him when we're talking about halves that use their 2RFs. He's
probably number one. If I'm like, honestly, he's probably number one. Hughes.
Well, maybe now, but over the last 10 years, it's definitely
yeah. No,
but yeah, so that could be a nice little late pick that could work out hugely if you want Lasardi. The only thing is his value is probably a little bit fucked because of classic, but I don't think too much because he's just a no-name. So
yeah, I think
he works.
There's obviously risk that comes from it, but mate, you're getting him around 17 or around 14, depending on what sort of system you're in. So I don't think there's too much for drama there.
We've missed the sweet spot, and it gets harder and harder the later you get in drafts. The value just isn't great when you get this late in your drafts for the 2RF spot. And like we keep telling you guys, if you're filling your bench spots, you need to put in a little bit of thought behind it and try and get some jewels. Try and think about, is there an AE spot on your run-on side that you need to fill? Like, these are the things you don't just start going him, and him.
Well, look at the durability of the players in key positions that you've picked as well. Like, if you've picked up a KP, you need to be getting a player that can fill that fullback spot, like on your bench. Like, it has to. You have to do that. Equally, like if you've got players that you know are injured to start the season, you're getting them for value. You obviously need to pick up a player that can fill the void in the meantime. Like, it's those sort of things. Also, if you're picking up players that are highly dependent on their matchups, you need to pick up other options so you can cycle between them, streamers and shit like that. So, look, there's a bunch of strategy that goes into it. And when we're talking about edge back roles, it's more important.
Also, keep an eye on guys that are injured to start the year and how far they slip as well. People just honestly, just blindly let them slip, right? And this late in the draft, if you can pick up a guy that's returning round 8, round 9, carry him for nine rounds, and especially if he's a middle player that doesn't, and it's like a lower leg injury, just say he's coming back from an ACL or a meniscus or something like that, you want those middle players that aren't reliant on lateral movement. And we'll talk to Brian more about this with guys coming back from injuries, especially ACLs. And he always says, guys that are just run it straight type operators don't have a massive dip in performance. That's why Cam McInnes is going to be okay, because you don't see Cam McInnes putting on big goosies.
No,
he's
true.
just trucking it and he's just fucking tackling. So if some of these guys that have, injuries to start the year and they slip, pick them up.
Yeah.
Pick him up. This is the time to pick him up and just carry him. Carry him for a few rounds. And then, you know what? When it gets to the time they return, they start putting in good games. Everyone's like, why the fuck didn't I draft him? He was there. I saw him. But I was just so short-sighted that he wasn't going to be there to start the season. Keep your head in the swivel. Be like water, baby. Be like water.
For sure.
All right. Let's get into the happy ending. I'm start wrapping this position
You
up.
want happy ending?
I got a booty.
Let me break it down for you so you understand. I'll hold your hand like a small child. Oh, fuck. Oh, my God. Fuck yeah.
All right, well, let's talk 2RF draft strategy. Now, I've alluded to it a little bit so far in this podcast, thinking the sweet spot in the draft is actually the sweet spot for the 2RF position. But talk to me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like in 2025, so last year, 2RFs made up 26% of the top 100 averaging players. So 26 of the top 100 averaging players were 2RFs. So, and that's taking into consideration players that have played at least 15 games, the guys that you actually want to draft. 62% of that number sat in the back half of the 50 and the 100 players. Huge value back end of draft. 69% of that number average over 60. So huge value, and we should be targeting later in the back half. So rounds 5 to 10. This is where we need to be doing our work in the 10 round, in a 10-man league. That's where you need to be doing your work in 2RF. So what we were saying before about rounds 4/5 to 8, you want to be getting 2 2RFs in that sort of realm, and then back that up with another one in rounds 8 to 10. Pepper in with CT dubs and everything else in between, but that's essentially the strategy that you got to run with, because other positions are becoming more and more important each and every year. So we're seeing fullback, stalwart. It is the most important position in Supercoach. Halfback's getting that way as well. CTW is increasing each and every year its importance. And we have seen a little bit of a regression in the importance of 2RF. They're still the engine room of your scoring, but the high-end potential we haven't seen as much of. And that's where the players that are going to be having big seasons and overperforming what they did last year, that's where we need to be doing the work and finding those players, picking them up, getting them at value, and not wasting our draft picks too early. That's essentially what I'm looking at targeting for 2RF.
Yeah, and that stat of, the back 50, the 2RFs that lie in the back 50, 70% of those 2RFs average over 60. We're all happy with a 2RF averaging over 60. 70% of the 2RFs in the back 50 are averaging over 60. That's huge. That just means there's value, people. There's value back. It does drop off. Don't let it go too late. But like we keep saying, that sweet spot between sort of 4, 5, and 8 and 9, like Walker said, that's where you need to attack. You need to attack hard. It needs to be part of your strategy when you're looking at the 2RF spot.
Yeah, you need to have that in the back of your mind when you're approaching each round. Always have a look at, okay, you have on one side looking at how your team's shaping up. Then you look at have a notes or something ahead around where you want to be targeting certain positions, and always be thinking about that as you're going through. Look, it's always good to go in with a plan, but you need to really be thinking about it during the draft. Be prepared to change things up, but also understand what those changes can mean. Just because there's a run on 2RFs doesn't mean you want to get drawn into that, because it opens up value in other areas. So just be careful.
Nailed it, bro. Nailed it. All right, let's get into our boom bust sleepers.
I wanted you to see these player evaluations.
What's wrong with Cal?
I think he's a bust.
I mean, the guy has hammies that could literally pull a car.
All right, booms. That's pretty easy for me. Siwa Wong. I reckon there's 6 points in value from his season in 2025. So easy peasy for me. He comes in. I'm pretty confident he takes up that right edge running off DCE.
Yeah, I'm going for Dave Fafita. I do think he can get back to the 70+ average. I'm not banking
low
on that,
hanging fruit, that one.
I mean, lower hanging fruit would have been Cam Murray. And that did cross my mind.
Both low. Both very low.
I mean, same with Siwa Wong at 53 average. So.
Mate, Siwa Wong is low hanging fruit, but there's a foot lower of fruit, and David Fafita's below that.
Mate, the fruit's on the ground. Don't worry.
That's right. Someone just tripped over David Fafita as an apple.
I'm pretty sure the seeds from fucking Cam Murray have already sprouted. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. Each of those options, Siwa Wong, Dave Fafita, and Cam Murray, as a joke, they're all going to be booms this season, I reckon.
Very good, very good. Bust, mine is Hamali Olakawadu. He's a big boom for you, obviously, but I've taken him as a bust.
I wouldn't say he's a big boom, but I don't think he's a bust.
Back yourself, bro. Back yourself.
No. I'm just disputing the fact that he's a bust.
Back yourself.
I actually laboured over this one a little bit because I wanted to put Huddy Young, but he's a bit too obvious. So I've gone for someone who didn't average that well last year, but had a cracker of a season, and that's my boy Kurt Donahue. I just think there's too many mouths to feed in that team, and even though he only got a 50-yard average last year, I do think he's actually going to fall away from that. So, yeah, he's a bit of a bust for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Again, fucking Dolphins forwards.
Well, I mean, like, whether he plays lock, whether he plays dummy half, like, I mean, we're going to see him at the start of the season play a bit of dummy half with JMK out for a month, but after that, what happens? But I do like Plath who plays.
I do like the Huddy Young as a bust because I do like
that was too obvious, though.
But I do like picking big guns like that as when you think they're just not going to back up. Like I picked Teddy as a bust last year because I was just like, guys, don't think he's going to average like 100. And same with Huddy Young. He just won't average 77.
Yeah.
So it's a fair call. All right, sleepers. My sleeper is Sleeping Beauty herself, Trent Liero. Went through all of that. I just think no one's drafting her, and she will have a 55 to 60 average. Bankable 55 to 60 average for someone that you could honestly draft in round 12.
Yeah, okay. So I've gone for players that I think have a bit of uptick in them, in their potential average. So I've gone for Sean Blaw or Teague Wilton. And the reason why I've gone either or is they're in like the same bracket. Like we've got them right next to each other in the rankings. And I think there's potential for them to be very close at the end of season as well. I think for two different reasons. There was a bit of a down year in attacking output for Teague Wilton. I think he can massively go higher than that 3 tries that we saw last season. And then for Sean Blaw, there's no Eli Katoa. I think there is going to be a bit more attack down that left edge, and I think a beneficiary of that is going to be Sean Blaw.
Yeah, I like the left edge for the Storm to light up in 2026. The left edge is going to be on, so I do like that. I think all three of those, Trent Liero, Blaw, Wilton, I think they're all good average, pretty similar, and you'll get them all pretty late. So all of them in that sleeper category. Let's get into the no fucking way. Absolutely.
No fucking way. No, I'm not working with this guy. I've been there, done that.
Mine is Vic Radley because I just don't want to run that gauntlet of him being knocked out. He will get knocked out in 2026. And if I had to bet, if there was a market on Sportsbet that said over 2.5 concussions, I would take the over.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, it's a slippery slope because as soon as you add 1 or 2, successive concussions get easier. The knocks are less hard to get concussed. So, yeah, it is a big concern. And like,
and the stint that he's off as well gets longer and longer. He gets knocked out early.
And we've seen with the Roosters how careful they are with like Keary and Tedesco when they've had like head knock issues. So yeah, I wouldn't be touching him with the barge bowl. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
No, thank you.
Now I originally had here Luciano Leilua, but this was before this is before the news that came out.
This is the sound of fucking Walker reversing out of this podcast right now. He's changing things.
Oh, mate. Look, the changing of the winds. I'm going to go Connolly Lemuelu, and I do love the kid, but look, there's no certainty in his position in the team. Are you
going to pick all Dolphins forwards as your busts?
Just change it up as all Dolphins forwards, like Kilikefu, Finafuaki, like fucking Max Plath. Yeah. Just put them all in. Yeah. Donahue. Yeah. So look, it's not fantastic. I could put a few other players there, but yeah, I think he fits the bill probably most. I could put someone like Gerbo, but no one's picking Gerbo. So I think he's the one for me. Connolly Lemuelu.
Which is very sad because God, we're Connolly Lemuelu.
We are if he can get consistent 60 minutes, I don't care about 80 minutes, 60 minutes. What he can do in that period of time. Oh my God.
I guarantee he will be spoken about on 80% of waiver wire podcasts in 2026.
We're always so big on him. And it's always, we're cursing Christian Wolf through the season. Why aren't you playing him? But yeah, that's just it's a constant theme.
Yep. But yeah, like I said earlier, the performances that he put in 2025 and the fact that he still wasn't getting picked, I have no confidence that he will get picked in 2026.
Yep. No, totally agree.
All right, guys, that is 2RF. Holy fuck, as we said, she's a big girl. She's a girthy girl. Hard to take it all in at once.
I'm sure that you've all listened to it in a few sessions, and respect if you've done it on it, because that's a long time to be listening to fucking white noise like us.
Like I said, if we skimmed over any player that you want us to dive deeper into, or if there's a guy that we didn't talk about that you think needs to be talked about, get in contact with us, but tell us why. You do the study for us. You give us the stats why this guy should be talked about. Don't just go, oh, you didn't talk about blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah,
we're happy for criticism. We want evidence-based criticism.
So you give us the stats to back it up. And if it's juicy and it gets the like a lightning bolt, hits the fucking tip of my penis when I read it, then we will talk about it on the next podcast. Yeah. And that happens a lot. People like message us and just go, hey, did you realize that in the 80 minutes games, this is blah, blah, blah. And we go, no, we didn't. Thank you. And we'll talk about it soon.
Yep.
It's impossible to do a deep dive on every single 2RF. It's a big podcast. As you can see, we've been fucking talking and drinking for 2.5 hours.
There's a lot of drinking.
A lot of drinking, a lot of dribbling, a lot of arguing. It's been a good podcast.
There was dribbling before I started drinking, to be fair.
True.
As most podcasts.
True. Yeah, we do usually come into the podcast a little bit buzzed.
I
hope people understand.
Sometimes people understand with like hooker.
I hope people understand that. They probably think these guys have had 2 beers in this podcast and they're loose. I'm usually
it's the preamble, like getting into.
I'm usually drunk before I press record, guys. Let's be clear on that. All right. Yes. So please go subscribe to the Rub Club. Do yourself a favor, but also if you want to help the platform, if you want to help the weekly rub down you want to keep the lights on in the Rub Club, keep these podcasts flowing. That's how you do it. You go in the Rub Club, you subscribe, and you get the best statistical backup you'll ever find for your Supercoach sides. Please do that.
www.patreon.com/rubberstats. Get involved.
That's the one. That's the one, people. If you want to listen to the 2RF exclusive rubdown where we talk about Kai Pearce-Paul and who are you talking about?
Isaiah
Papali'i. Then that's where it'll happen, over on the Rub Club. But other than that, I mean, I think we're fucking done, bro. Still got another 40 minutes of podcasting to do, so let's get the fuck out of here.
I think it's going to be about 40 minutes just on Classic Corner. Jesus Christ.
Oh, there are many things a man can do with his time.
And this is longer than those things.
Heaps longer, bro. All right. Love you.
Catches.
You can take me now. I have seen it all.
Get that India.
Ta-ta!